This is the DEFCON warning system. Alert status for 7 p.m., Tuesday, January 4, 2011. Condition green, DEFCON 5. Condition green, DEFCON 5. Condition green, DEFCON 5. There are currently no imminent nuclear threats against the United States at this time. The Korean situation has abated and there is no imminent threat of war in the region beyond the normally high tensions in the area. Nevertheless, the DEFCON warning system continues to foresee a limited nuclear conflict in the region sometime in the accessible future and thus urges citizens to prepare for trans-Pacific fallout. The public should make note of store shelves at this time and pay attention to the shortage of some goods, as weather has disrupted the supply chain. This type of disruption and shortage will be magnified in the event of a pending crisis, and thus citizens should begin to stock supplies now rather than when a crisis is evident. The United States has ratified the newest START treaty, which severely limits the U.S. in self-defense. The treaty limits both the United States and Russia to 1,550 deployed strategic nuclear missiles. However, Russia has already stated that they do not plan to abide by this restriction. Additionally, the treaty limits only deployed missiles, not missiles in reserve which can be utilized on mobile launchers that Russia has been known to use. The treaty also counts missiles on bombers as a single deployed missile despite the number of actual missiles a bomber may carry. The treaty also limits inspection to 3% of the nuclear force, negating any inspection value, as well as only reducing strategic missiles in which the U.S. had an advantage over Russia. The new START treaty does not limit tactical nuclear missiles, which Russia holds a 10-to-1 advantage over the United States, as well as having a philosophy of first use. Additionally, the treaty gives Russia input into American missile defense. Ultimately, according to Russian Defense Minister Sergei Lavrov, Russia will not have to make any cuts to Russian nuclear forces under this treaty, but Americans will. At this time, Russia has not yet ratified the treaty, but its ratification is almost certain. Further undermining U.S. security are the wilderness-designated areas in which foreign entities are using to cross into the U.S. without fear of being apprehended by Border Patrol agents, as motorized vehicles are not permitted in the area, hampering U.S. forces and making huge swaths of the border vulnerable to invasion. In the Middle East, the United States continues to pressure Israel to give up the strategic Golan Heights, an area of land which enemy forces have launched to attacks and plan to use again in another war should Israel give up the position. United Nations peacekeepers continue to allow foreign agents into Lebanon despite its directive to keep hostile forces out of the country, turning a blind eye, as Iran continues to fortify Hezbollah positions in the country. Further assisting the destabilization of the area is France's plan to send 100 anti-tank missiles to Lebanon despite the fact that the government faces takeover by hostile entity who would assume the weapons and use against Israel. While the situation in Korea has settled down somewhat, it is widely believed that North Korea plans another nuclear test, this time inviting scientists from Iran to inspect the area as well as giving Iran details about the next test. Further, North Korea is developing nuclear torpedoes for use against American carriers should war break out in the area. China's military program continues to send alarms throughout the region, sparking India to invest in a new naval research facility to counter growing Chinese strength. U.S. Pacific Commander Willard claims that China's new anti-ship missile is now operational, changing the balance of power in the region, while China Defense Minister states that country is preparing for conflict "in every direction." Although not an overt threat of aggression, it does continue to indicate that China plans to continue to increase its military muscle. As evidence of this, China's military aircraft have become more aggressive toward Japan in recent months, conducting more defense probing raids and testing response time. The DEFCON warning system is a private enterprise which monitors world events and assesses nuclear threats against the United States by national entities. It does not evaluate individual terrorist threats and does not report on them, except in cases of hard intelligence. The public should make their own evaluations and not rely on the DEFCON warning system for any strategic planning. At all times, citizens are urged to learn what steps to take in the event of a nuclear attack. If this had been an actual attack, the DEFCON warning system will give radiation readings for areas that are reported to it. Your readings will vary. This system serves the Kittle Falls area of Northeast Washington. Official news sources will have radiation readings for your area. For immediate updates, go to www.defconwarningsystem.com. Breaking news and important information can be found on the DEFCON Warning System message board. You may also subscribe to the YouTube channel DEFCON Warning System, however YouTube updates may be delayed by several hours due to server load. The next scheduled update is 7 p.m. Pacific Time, February 1, 2011. Additional updates will be made as the situation warrants, with more frequent updates at higher alert levels. This concludes this broadcast of the DEFCON Warning System.